Hey Legacy Builders, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen McNeely with JWM Designs and Marketing, and in this video I'm going to change things up just a little bit and talk about my experience 3 years in business as a business owner and what I believe helped me to be successful. Usually my videos are focused on tips and tools for starting a business or running a business or building a website. But today I want to check in with you directly and get a feel for where you are in your transition from employee to entrepreneur. Like me, some of you have been on this journey for a few years, while others are just now considering taking that entrepreneurial leap. For some of you watching, the question of whether to start a business has become more pressing for you because your job situation may not be as stable as it was before the pandemic. What once may have been a daydream about quitting your job and starting your business is now becoming a realistic goal, and you've just got questions. And so I want to share with you my experience going from full-time employee to a full-time entrepreneur. Now, if you are at a point where you are seriously questioning whether you are ready to be your own boss, I have been there. I completely understand where you are, and I know what it's like to feel unsure about taking that next step. I'll be honest with you. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone, and that does not mean it's a bad thing. That if you're not ready to be an entrepreneur or that's not really the route for you, there is nothing wrong with that. Only you can determine whether entrepreneurship is a good thing for your life and your career. In this video, I just want to share some things that helped me realize that I could take what started out as just a hobby, something to do, a creative outlet really, and then I turned that into a profitable business. This video is not about whether your hobby has potential for profitable business or about evaluating whether this is the kind of service that you should have or this is the kind of product you have. That's not what this video is about. This video is more about evaluating whether you have what it takes to just be your own boss and to take control of your career. This video is about self-mastery, honestly, and in particular, whether or not you have the personality and the traits that are necessary to be successful as an entrepreneur. In particularly, what I want you to take away from this video is to take stock of who you are, to understand the importance of your likes, your dislikes, your strengths, your weaknesses. All of those things are very critical to your success. And I think it's important that before you start jumping into whether or not this product or this service is what you want to provide, I think it's really important to take a time to look at who you are and decide whether or not you're ready to take this leap. So let's get started. You may be thinking to yourself, Jen, what is self-mastery? Why are you saying that? What is that about? You might be even thinking to yourself, you've got a good business idea, you're ready to start your business, so why all this touchy-feely stuff about find who you are? And I'm totally get that because I didn't know anything about self-mastery or the importance of really understanding who I was as a person, my perspective in business and how I act and these traits. I had no idea the importance of it until I was knee deep in my business and realizing I was making certain decisions and mistakes based on things that I didn't even realize were about my personality. Starting and running a business is going to require more from you personally, mentally, emotionally, physically than any job that you have ever had. Despite what social media may suggest, entrepreneurship is not always glamorous, and there are elements to running a business that are downright killjoys. Many new business owners quit their businesses and they return to work as employees because they weren't honest with themselves about their motivations for starting their business or whether they had the stamina to continue when challenges come up in the business, and they will. There are ebbs and flows to being in a business and being a business owner. Self-mastery is just a way of identifying your unchecked behaviors, habits, emotions, those things that drive you in your decision-making process, because that's what running a business is really all about, making sound, practical decisions. Now that I've identified the problem, so what's my solution? I personally believe that to achieve self-mastery, every current or aspiring entrepreneur should confront these 5 essential qualities within themselves, and they need to master those. They are self-control, self-awareness, self-sufficiency, self-efficacy, and self-discipline. I call it Self-C.A.S.E.D, and who doesn't love a good acronym? I know, I love one, so that's how I put it together. But honestly, I want to share with you these 5 things because they helped me tremendously starting out. But more importantly, they've helped me as I've continued to grow my business. And now that I'm pivoting my services, it's helping me even more because I'm aware of those things about my personality and how I run my business. And it's going to help you too. Now, before I go into those 5 essential elements, one of the main tools that I used to assist me in facing the woman in the mirror was a personality test that's offered by 16personalities.com. I've linked the test in the description below. I will do a separate video on the specifics of the test and how it helped me not only in my business, but also in my personal life. It's completely free to do. There is no affiliate link or anything like that, but it's a great way to get started when you're on the road to self-mastery, and it's definitely a tool in your arsenal that will be helpful as you go through these 5 essential elements. So the first one is self-control. Self-control is the foundation for every decision that you make in your life and business. Recognizing how you respond to positive or negative stimuli when you're making decisions is integral to mastering self-control. How many times since you started your business have you been enticed by a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or some YouTube video for a tool or some software or some new gadget that you think that you've just got to have for your business, and then you go out and you buy it without considering whether or not it's even a smart investment for your business? Now, when I first started JWM Designs, I had what's called shiny object syndrome. I was consumed with excitement and emotion of being a business owner, and I wanted to buy the latest and the greatest software or gadget that was thrown in my direction. And believe me, y'all, I spent so much money convincing myself this is for the business, so it's okay. When in reality, it was really my inability to control my impulse buying. I had to learn quickly that I needed to get my emotions in tune with my business goals and my bank account, or JWM Designs would not last. Emotional, impulsive responses to positive or negative stimuli are never a good means of advancing your business. And believe me, I have been there. I had to learn to change my mindset, I had to manage my expectations, and approach every decision using sort of an if-then technique. Now, I will not lie to y'all, my willpower to consistently exercise self-control in my business decisions, it did not develop overnight. But it's been over the years, each time that I've made a conscious effort to act only when the action is rationally based on what is truly in the best interest of my business, I've sort of been able to take that next step towards self-control. And I'm still on that road, we all are. Because I know the weak areas of my personality, one of which is my need for perfection and also being prone to burnout. I had to create these systems in my business to address them so they can aid me in my efforts to be more in control of my decisions in my business. For example, I base the decisions I make in my business now against how that decision will benefit my business in the future. And I'm not just saying something that's out in the air. It has to be rationally based, practical, something that is realistic. It can't be like, well, I think it might, but I actually have to back it up with how will this actually benefit my business before I make that purchase. I also had to recognize how stress in my life and business negatively affect my ability to control my impulses so that I can take that time to just sort of step away from everything and kind of release any of that pent up pressure. And believe me, y'all, when you are running your business, a lot of things get built up and you don't even realize that you're building up so much pressure from all the different things that get thrown at you as a business owner. Whether it's yoga or going for a walk or eating a meal out or reading an interesting book or somehow incorporating times of meditation and self-reflection, whatever it is, incorporating those things into your routine will help you, just like it helped me maintain self-control, and it just gives you that opportunity to relieve some pressure. And you've got to make sure you have an outlet to relieve pressure as a business owner. The second essential quality is self-awareness. Self-awareness for me was a bit tricky because it required me to do some heavy introspection as to what comprises my personality. I had to critically evaluate my weaknesses, strengths, my core beliefs, my motivations, my temperament, my emotions, so that I could better understand why I was prone to taking certain actions and why certain things just motivated me and certain things did not motivate me. One of my key weaknesses when it comes to my personality is that I can be sensitive to criticism. Yes, and I'm telling y'all, especially when it comes to things that challenge my principles, my values, my core beliefs, I can be especially sensitive, and I have to be very careful when I'm dealing with customers or people that I'm just friends with, or any of my interpersonal relationships when it comes to those sorts of criticisms. But by taking the time to reflect internally on the details that encompass my psyche and character and demeanor, I have been able to see that my bad habits, my negative responses, some of my own prejudices, and just misguided beliefs, I've been able to see them better and begin working to change them. And I've seen a positive impact, and it's allowed me to make new connections with clients, with customers, with friends, with business associates that I wouldn't have before, because I had these things that were blocking me from that. And because I've taken the time to work on these things, I can now use those skills in my business to better understand the action and motivations of others, including my potential customers. I mean, I know it sounds like a whole lot of sociology, gobbledygook, touchy-feely stuff, but I've seen it for myself and for most of my clients that success in your business and how people interact in the business world is closely aligned with their character. And I want to be a person of character, of honest, moral character, and I want to work with people that same way. And so being able to recognize those traits in other people is so vital, guys. I'm telling you, it's so vital, because you never know who you're going to partner with or who you should not partner with. Here's an example of a self-awareness technique that I use when I'm working with new potential clients. The technique I found that's been very helpful is Troy Dean's technique of go wide, go deep. And the go wide, go deep technique is used for helping clients during like the discovery or the initial phase of a project, particularly when it comes to building a website for a client. Because a lot of times people say they want a website, but they have no idea why they want the website, and they have no idea what they want to put on the website or the purpose that they see behind having a website for their business. And that can vary depending on what your business is and what your goals are. And so this method just sort of allows me to kind of strip away my clients' canned responses and really get to the heart of what is really important to them, and kind of move out of that trivial stuff of like, oh, I just want a website because everyone has one. But sometimes there might be something specific that the client wants, and maybe it's not even a website, but it's just something else that they want and they don't really know it. And so the go wide, go deep method, after I do that during the discovery session with the client, they often say that they never really asked themselves questions about their business that were that in depth, and they never really thought about certain goals and things that they had for themselves or their business for the future. And so it's a great method in the initial phase of doing any project with a client, but it's also great to just use it for yourself. And that's exactly what I did for me. Think of the go wide, go deep method like an inverted pyramid. The initial questions are very broad, and the answers to those are usually very canned and generic. And then you just continue to keep asking the question why, and you start to hone in on certain reoccurring themes and issues. So let me show you how I used it for me recently when I was thinking about changing some things up with my business. My Go Wide, Go Deep session started with the simple question of why did I start my business? And then I gave an answer which included that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So then I asked the next question, well, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And then the next question I asked myself was, why do I think that the service I provide is beneficial to others? And etc. I just kept going on, and I kept asking myself, why, until I was able to see certain themes and patterns about my motivations. And also it led me to realize whether or not I was on the path to attaining my goal, or if it was time for me kind of to recalibrate and refocus and adjust where I was that I was going. And so everybody's go wide, go deep session is going to vary. Yours is not going to be the same as mine, but the key takeaways for me during my most recent go wide, go deep session was that I want my business to align with my values, and it's not all about the money for me. Now, of course, everybody wants to make money in business, and I'm not saying that I don't, but that's not the first and most main goal for my business. I value autonomy for myself, and I also know that I value being able to make a significant difference in the lives of my clients. And so because those are really important to me, being able to be in control of my time and to also be able to have a very significant impact in the lives of the clients or the people that I work with, I was able to see, okay, you know what? It's really not about the money for me. And so that's how it's been able to help me in pivoting what I want to do in the services that I provide for my clients. As a result of my Go Wide, Go Deep session, the 3 words that kind of sum up my business goals and where I'm going are truth, beauty, and purpose. And so that's why I say, guys, definitely take some time, do a Go Wide, Go Deep session for you, because for me, becoming more self-aware in my business, it's just helped me prepare for and manage those highs and lows of my professional and personal life. And it's just made it possible for me to trust myself to effectively and efficiently make the right decisions when a crisis comes, because I'm telling y'all, it's going to happen. And now that I know that I've taken the time to learn who I am and how I respond under pressure, I have the confidence of knowing that I can be able to do or handle whatever may come in business. Because I know what drives me, and I've become an expert in knowing my own patterns in business and behavior. I can also recognize those traits in other people. Inward motivation and focus, those are a necessary part of attaining self-awareness. And so in having a clear understanding of the world around you and how you fit in that grand scheme, it is so important. I mean, like Plato said, you got to know yourself. And so I ask you, I implore you, as someone who has been there and done that, take some time and become more aware of who you are and where you want to go. All right, guys, number 3 is self-sufficiency. Every day in my life as an entrepreneur has included some challenge that tests my resolve. I'm telling y'all, there is always something. And each setback, delay, detour is just going to create just enough space for doubt, just enough, and it's going to set in. And so as an entrepreneur, sometimes it can just be lonely, y'all. It's so lonely at times because you feel like you're the only one. No matter how much my friends and my family may love me, they don't always understand what it's like running a business and how much of a toll it takes on you. And honestly, I can't always rely on them to give me the support or the comfort or the advice that I need. I mean, when I was starting out, I had to develop a level of confidence in my abilities without requiring the assistance, the affirmation, or the authority of someone else. And that can be very difficult when you've gone from a job where you're used to performance reviews and someone talking to you and telling you that you're doing a good job, and then you're at a point where now you have to tell yourself that. Because no one is going to fight harder for your business than you. The survival of your business cannot be dependent on anyone else but you. Authentic self-sufficiency required me to develop and execute ideas and plans without the advice and the resources of other people. Now, don't misunderstand me, okay? I'm not saying that you shouldn't seek wise counsel for your business from a trusted advisor. I mean, while it's true that entrepreneurship can be a lonely road to travel, it's also a road that's been traveled by plenty of other people. And having a trusted advisor who can be there with you in the trenches to kind of keep you grounded and focused, that is an asset. They can give you that extra boost or shot of motivation to keep you moving forward. But my thing is that they should never be a crutch to you. You should never become dependent upon them. You have to be your number one encourager. If you cannot motivate yourself to get up and to grind it out in your business, you need to find another career path. Because there's going to be days when you're going to see other entrepreneurs, they're going to be celebrating big wins, and you're going to be looking at your accounts receivable and it's empty. And when you're first starting out in business, you cannot focus on what you do not have versus what those who have already been established in your industry, what they've got, because they got different resources. And comparing the resources of your competitors with your own, that's just an exercise in futility, and it's going to leave you frustrated. It's going to leave you angry. It's going to leave you in a place of just utter darkness because you're going to think, I can't do this. A better and a more productive way for you to spend your time is to take stock of who you are, of what you have, and think of ways that you can expand it. This is especially true for me because when I first started out in business, I was on a shoestring budget. I'm not even sure I could afford a shoestring. But I refused to start my business in debt, and I refused to have it in debt. My business is not in debt, and if I couldn't afford it, I didn't buy it. And honestly, guys, this made me work harder and smarter to find innovative ways when I first got started. Self-sufficiency is all about your ability to build your business with what you already have. Don't go into all this debt before you've even had the opportunity to make a profit. Don't do that. That is That is one of the most craziest things, unless you have to have it for some sort of manufacturing or that sort of thing. But for most of you watching this, you have got to make sure you put yourself on a budget and try your best, your absolute best, not to start out in debt, because you're already behind the 8 ball trying to catch up if you start off in debt. If you focus on what you have and ways to improve upon it, you are going to gain momentum and more resources will come along the way. I mean, being lean and agile at the launch of your business, that shouldn't be seen as an impediment. I mean, as a self-sufficient entrepreneur, you must have a way to get your head back in the game when you've fallen behind and your business is relying on you to do it, so you can't let it down. Number 4, self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the unrelenting belief in your own abilities to achieve whatever you put your mind to. In other words, you need faith in yourself. What separates the employee from the entrepreneur is the sincere confidence in one's qualifications, capabilities, and intelligence to achieve the maximum level of performance. When you're an employee, you don't necessarily have to believe that you could always do it, because you're like, you know what? Ultimately, if you can't, your employer will find someone else to do it, or you have other people that can help you. It's not the case when you're an entrepreneur. Successful entrepreneurs who possess a deep sense of self-efficacy, they typically see obstacles as opportunities to hone their skills and view setbacks as a setup for greater accomplishments. They don't avoid challenges and they refuse to dwell on disappointments. They understand their limits, but they take on difficult tasks and they push themselves beyond their limitations. You don't do that as an employee because you don't have to. But when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you've got to push yourself to see how far you can actually go. Now, unfortunately for me, when I first started JWM Designs, I had not reached the point where I truly believed in myself. I suffered greatly from imposter syndrome, partly because I had yet to master the ability to internalize my own accomplishments. I lived by this misguided belief that my inexperience as a website designer would be viewed by potential customers as incompetence. And so I charged less for my service, and I allowed some customers to take advantage of me because I didn't realize the value that I brought. I just thought, well, I'm inexperienced, so it's okay that I, let them pay less than what they would if they went anywhere else. To overcome imposter syndrome, I had to flip my perspective away from me and focus on the value that I knew I could provide to my customers. Once I let my work speak for itself, I was eventually able to see that I have a perspective and I have a set of experiences that are unique to me and that someone out there is going to appreciate it, and I began to understand and know my worth. The simple truth is that there have been times that I've had to fake it until I made it. And everybody has to do that as an entrepreneur. And anyone says that they didn't, they're lying. And I had to learn to not let fear stop me from pushing me from pursuing that big job or asking for higher fees. As an entrepreneur, if we don't believe in ourselves, it will be challenging for anyone else to believe in us or in our businesses. So self-efficacy is one of those key elements that I definitely think you've got to master, and you got to master that quick, or you're going to find yourself being in a position where people are going to use your services, but they're going to lowball you, or they're not going to pay you your worth. Number 5, self-discipline. Now, before you say, Jen, you're repeating yourself. Self-discipline is the same thing as self-control. That's not really true, guys. I know that the terms, they get used interchangeably. However, self-discipline and self-control are not the same. Self-control is focused on understanding the difference between impulsive and rational choices and how you respond to certain stimuli when you're making decisions. Self-discipline, on the other hand, is about one's ability to persevere and finish what they start. Exercising self-discipline requires you to delay gratification and to do what must be done in spite of any external or internal difficulties, adversities, or even fatigue. I mean, it's your ability as an entrepreneur to carry yourself over that finish line after you've reached that point of exhaustion that sets you apart from others. I love the term wantrepreneur because it so beautifully illustrates what so many people who say that they want to start a business, what they really are, because they see the results of successful entrepreneurs, but They have no idea of the amount of hard work and sacrifice that went into making those results happen. They don't know those late nights. They don't know those filling orders when it's very hard, or trying to complete these different things and tasks for clients and getting those deliverables out. They don't know how you toil and toil trying to get those things for your customers. If you look at self-discipline as a type of punishment, then you will find excuses to justify your lack of consistency in your business. While I make no claim that self-discipline won't involve some unpleasantness and friction, the benefits of self-discipline far outweigh any negatives associated with it. Launching and growing your business means restricting your lifestyle to devote yourself to your business. It is human nature to try to move away from things that don't feel good and then to indulge in things that are going to bring you pleasure. I mean, distractions, they're plentiful. They are everywhere. I mean, think about your social media scrolling. Ever notice that no matter how busy you are, you somehow find time to scroll through your Facebook or Instagram timeline? Drafting a business plan or a marketing campaign on a Saturday night is no fun. Making goofy faces on Snapchat is fun. In my business, I've had to find pleasure in accomplishing even the smallest of milestones just because I needed to stop viewing my work as a chore. Because once I view it as a chore, it makes it so much harder to do. I mean, think laundry. I hate doing laundry. And if my work in my business becomes like me having to do laundry, it's going to pile up. I've implemented a regular strategy session to brainstorm long-term goals and projects in my business. I write out a list of what I need to do to achieve my goals and how do I need to complete my projects. Then I break those goals into manageable steps and try to plan each week in advance. I also list the obstacles and difficulties that I think that might come up while I'm trying to complete the task or the goal. And then I go and I list the information and the skills that I need in order to complete it. I list the people or the resources necessary to meet those goals. I get very detailed. Now, I'm not perfect when it comes to self-discipline. Please do not get me wrong, because all of these things that I'm telling you about, these are ongoing things that I'm constantly working on myself, constantly working on in my business. But when I fall short of my goal, I just don't let it stop me and get me off track. I just look, I reevaluate, I adjust, and then I try to make the improvements where I need to so I don't keep falling off. I mean, falling off the path, there's nothing to be ashamed of. If you mess up, if maybe one week is kind of like a blow week in your business, that is nothing to be ashamed of. But failing to get back up and try again and to get back into some sort of rhythm in your business, that is something to be ashamed of. So I've done a lot of talking and I've gone through those 5 essential elements, but I want to know, where are you in your entrepreneur journey? Are you a year or 2 into your business, or are you just starting out? I mean, no matter where you are in your journey, I just challenge you all to apply the Self-C.A.S.E.D principles to your life and to your business. Maybe you think that I'm silly for focusing on these things, and you believe that running a business has nothing to do with your personal habits, characters, patterns, personality. And if that's you, I wish you the best, honestly, and I hope that things work out for you. But I know that for me, JWM Designs is more than just my business, but it's an extension of who I am and the mark that I want to leave on those that are around me. The reason I call all of the viewers of my videos legacy builders is because when you set up your business, you are doing exactly that. You are building a legacy. Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, built a business that changed how we buy things. Jeff Bezos did the same thing with Amazon. And I'm not saying that you or my business, that we're going to be the next Walmart or Amazon, but for people in our circle of friends or our family, when they see us persevere and start a business and run a business, we will leave a lasting impression on them for years to come. And that's what I mean when I say you are a legacy builder. If you're starting a business, if you're running a business, that's what you're building. And what do you want your legacy to be? Let's recap. In this video, I shared with you the importance of self-mastery and the 5 essential components that helped me realize that I could achieve my goal of transitioning from a full-time employee to a full-time entrepreneur. I used the acronym SelfC.A.S.E.D, which stands for self-control, self-awareness, self-sufficiency, self-efficacy, and self-discipline. Your action steps is to take what I've shared with you today, and I want you to walk through them one by one. Ask yourself the tough questions and consider whether you are ready to commit to the full-time life of entrepreneurship. I created a quick download just for you to be able to help yourself as you're going through the process of evaluating each of those essential elements, and I hope that it's helpful for you, and you write those down and just spend some time getting to know yourself and your personality. I also encourage you to make sure you go to 16personalities.com and complete that test, because I'm telling you, it is super helpful. And like I said, it's not an affiliate link or anything like that, and it's completely free for you to use. So go ahead and try that out, and all that information is in the description box below. I hope that you guys are finding these videos helpful and enjoyable as you continue to navigate the process of being an entrepreneur. If you have any questions or thoughts about this video or videos that you would like to see in the future, please leave a message in the comment box below. I love hearing from you. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and my handles for all those sites are listed in the description box below. Also, you can check me out on jwmdesigns.com for all your websites and digital marketing needs, as well as a full transcript of this video will be on the blog of my website. So if you want to read what you've already watched, it'll be right there for you. Also, don't forget to like this video and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can get updates on any of the new things that I post. I will continue to post content related to business, marketing, website development, all sorts of things. So I look forward to hearing from you guys and getting your feedback on these videos and more in the future. All right, guys, that's it for this video. So until I see you in the next video, keep building, y'all.